Really? All right. So if you talk about the excretory system, it comes from the word excretion, which means to get rid of waste. And so the purpose of the excretory system is to get rid of what we call metabolic waste. So in our body, when we digest food, when we use molecules for energy and build various things in our body, some waste products are produced. These waste products, they need to be removed from the body, otherwise they can build up and they can become toxic and eventually poison somebody. So we have specialized organs that help to get rid of those waste products. Okay? So we'll talk about some of those here. One of the most important excretory organs are the kidneys. So in the body we have two kidneys. Okay, they're towards your back. Okay, and they're on each side of your spine. And all the blood in your body goes through these kidneys. Okay? And what they do is they basically take the blood, remove these poisonous substances from it, and then send the clean blood back into circulation. If you look in the very back, if you look in the very back of this model, you can see the kidneys, one on the left side, one on the right side. You also see, like we talked about the other day, the endocrine system, adrenal glands, which are on top of each of the kidneys. So you have two of them, and they remove these toxins from the blood. And they take these substances they're removing, mix them with water, and that's what forms urine. Urine is a mixture of these waste products that were taken from our blood and water.
It removes what?
Removes toxins from the blood. So all this blood, and here's a diagram showing a cross-section of a kidney. So the red is an artery where you have the blood from your body, it goes into the kidney, kind of loops around. There's specialized cells called nephrons, which are able to extract these poisonous substances. They go into these tubes, okay, and then the clean blood can come back out of the kidney through this vein and head back to the heart to go back into circulation. So the kidneys are constantly producing sort of a drip of urine, right, all the time. And this tube, you see here, one leaving the kidney on this side, and this is it here. That tube that leads from the kidney is called the ureter. It carries this constant drip of urine, and it carries them to the urinary bladder.
Why do they call it the urinary bladder when there's only one bladder?
There's not, because like the gallbladder. A bladder just means sort of a holding area. So the urinary bladder holds urine, the gallbladder holds bile.
Okay.
Why is that like usually just called the
Yeah, just because people abbreviate. So the ureter carries this drip of urine, which eventually goes into the bladder, and the bladder over time fills up.
Yeah.
But basically it stores the urine until it's ready to be eliminated. And so the bottom of the bladder is just like a hollow, kind of like a balloon, but the bottom has a muscle. It's very similar to the one you saw in the video. That was the exit of the stomach. That muscle can close up and keeps all the urine in there, but then when it's time, okay, a person can relax that muscle, opening it up, allowing urine to come out when they urinate. The urine travels from the bladder out of the body through a tube that's called the urethra. So ureter carries it from the kidney to the bladder. The urethra, there's only one of the urethra, there's two ureters. The urethra carries it out of the body and to the toilet, hopefully.
Wait, what was the other bladder?
It said carries urine from the bladder to the toilet.
hopefully. I didn't know if it's
Mr. Josh, why is it more likely that younger kids don't use the toilet than older kids?
I don't know, they haven't learned exactly when to go, when not to go.
They don't have
Well, old people,
Now-
like, they forget how to treat their
Your
Alzheimer's.
kidneys, there's, one important thing to know about kidneys is you need a kidney to survive. If you don't have functioning kidneys to clean your blood, toxins in your blood can build up and basically poison you. It can be fatal. Now sometimes a person's kidneys may not be working, they may have shut down, they may have been damaged. In that case, a person may have to go for what's called dialysis treatment. In dialysis, a person goes to the doctor's office every single day. They get hooked up to a machine which takes blood, filters that sort of artificially, and then puts it back into them. So it can sort of clean out their blood artificially, but it's not a permanent solution because that person, to be independent, is going to eventually need a kidney. So kidneys can be transplanted. So a person can get a kidney from somebody that donated a kidney when they passed away, or from a relative, because you can live with a single kidney. You can live fine and be perfectly normal. So, you know, if a person had a relative that had a kidney disorder and they needed a kidney transplant, the person can decide if they're a good match, they can donate one of their kidneys to their relative.
Do they have to be the same?
They have to match them appropriately, yeah. So they have to be similar. And then the doctors do surgery, they'll remove a kidney from the healthy person, put it into the person that has no functioning kidneys, and both people can live just fine with one single kidney. So it is possible for a kidney to be transplanted.
Isn't there like a huge waiting list for a kidney?
Kidneys are more common than other organs that have to be transplanted, like, you know, a heart or a liver. Those are rarer, because with kidneys, like I said, a living person can give one of their kidneys to someone that needs one, whereas a person that needs a lung transplant, that doesn't work. It has to come from someone that passed away.
How can you get it to work again though?
Basically, if a person says, I'm going to donate my organs, when they die, then doctors quickly come in, remove an organ that's going to be transplanted, transport it to wherever it needs to go, and as long as it happens somewhat quickly, then the organ can be preserved. You know, they put it on ice so that it doesn't start to break down.
So like the person dies, and like the family's all upset, and then doctors come in and like cut the body up.
They don't do it there.
Well, it's a choice.
Yeah, it's your choice.
And then they just.
Juliana?
I think sometimes when you have
I sh-
transplants, sometimes it's like pigs because like.
With some organs, they can use organs from other animals. I'm not sure about kidneys,
That's gross.
but if it makes you better, it's not, right?
So say if you're on dialysis and you got off it,
Yeah.
and he was about to die, they took him off dialysis.
Yeah, like sometimes a person is close to death and basically they're not gonna be able to survive. They might take them off it to make them more comfortable so they don't have to keep going to the hospital, and yeah, sometimes they do that. They do that with other sorts of medical treatment when a person says, okay, I don't wanna have to be, you know, have all these tubes hooked up and be in the hospital, and they may go home and just sort of try to pass away, peacefully. All right, so the kidneys work, you know, just to diagram it out, where we have blood going in, cells produce waste products. They send those waste products into the blood carries these waste products to the kidneys, where they get filtered out, changed to urine, and expelled, and then the clean blood can continue on and go to the various parts of the body without all those toxins. Very question?
Well, if you only had one kidney, would your body create less urine?
Would it what?
Create less urine, or does like urine come from the blood?
No, I mean, it still would produce about the same. One kidney can do just fine on its own.
Okay.
All right, well, there's a couple other excretory organs, not just the kidneys. The skin is considered an excretory organ because when you sweat, not only are you releasing water, but also certain waste salts. And you probably recognize this if you're outside and you're, you know, running or training for something or playing and you get sweat in your eyes, it burns. And it burns because it's a mixture of salt and water.
And then.
Or if you if you are playing baseball and you always wear the same baseball cap, and you get sweaty and after it dries, what's left over on the inside of the cap?
White.
Yeah, white, crusty. It's basically salt. It's because the water evaporates, or even if you go and you're outside on a really hot day, doing a sport, just doing whatever, when you sweat, once that sweat evaporates, it leaves a layer of salt on your skin, because the salt doesn't evaporate, only the water.
That's why you have to take a shower after you work out.
When I went to Great Salt Lake in Salt Lake City, we went to swim in it, and when we got out, all we had were like 3-inch thick rings that we went around our whole body, and it was all salt.
Oh, really?
And we couldn't open our eyes, and our hair
Oh,
was
really?
all salty.
Why would you swim?
Yeah, I mean, you can buy at the store for cooking sea salt,
Yeah.
which is when you take seawater, let the water evaporate, and you're left with those salt crystals remaining, and you can use that in your food. Yeah. So it's salt. I don't know if anyone's ever made like human salt from sweat, evaporated sweat. That's a good idea. Maybe you sprinkle it on like your French fries.
I've never had French fries again now.
Oh, yeah? All right, our last organ, I should have said that. Our last organ is the lungs. The lungs are obviously an excretory organ because they remove carbon dioxide, a major waste. You can't live very long without exhaling because carbon dioxide in your blood builds up and that becomes dangerous. So our lungs, as blood comes into your lungs, it's rich in carbon dioxide, a waste product. And so that carbon dioxide diffuses out of your blood into the cells in your lungs, and then you exhale it. At the same time, oxygen from the air in your lungs diffuses into your blood, sort of recharging it.
I have an airsoft gun that's got CO2 in it. It's so like, where is that from?
It's just the same thing, it's carbon dioxide, just compressed.
People just
No,
breathe it, yeah.
no, carbon dioxide comes from lots of different sources other than people outside. Joe?
So